Welcome to the Crypto ZX channel. You guys are reading the title. It is time to finally discuss Aster. I've been getting so much requests, to talk about Aster because, again, this is one of the biggest launches for the year of 2025 for the crypto space. But I kind of held off just like I did with XPL coin. I wanted to see how things really go. And now is the finally time to really talk about Aster. Again, let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more of these updates. I'm going to go more into depth as to what's really happening with this coin. Obviously, right now, price predictions are all over the place for Aster. And again, I want you guys to keep in mind, all these price predictions, it's everyone speculating. Even us on this channel, we're speculating. But I'm going to share my full-on depth opinion as to where I personally think Aster is going. I'm going to talk about some price predictions, share some numbers with you guys. And again, if you want to see more regular updates on Aster, you guys know what to do. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Your bell notifications are on, so you're notified every time we make an upload on the channel. So Aster right now is up 18% right now over the course of the last 24 hours. It's having an amazing day right now. Over the last 1 week, though, you guys can see this for yourself. It's up about 5.3%. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are scratching your heads wondering, wait, hold on. The broader market is up a lot. And if this project is so hyped, why is it only up 5.3% over the last 1 week? We need to understand prior to Q4 starting, Aster was already having an amazing field day. We do tend to see that shift taking place from the profits going back into the other altcoins. Remember, Aster was actually pumping, prior to this move. And then, as Q4 started, Bitcoin broke out. You did see some profit, going back into the likes of Bitcoin, going back into the likes of other altcoins. And that is something I want you guys to keep in mind. But before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Aster's price right now, $2.13, as mentioned, up 16% in USD, up 14.1% in Bitcoin comparative. The valuation, $3.5 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about $1.1 billion. So starting off, what in the world is Aster and the hype that it has for itself? So Aster is a decentralized exchange. Yes, that's correct. And it was deployed on the Binance chain, but it's pretty much supported on all the other chains as well. And I know you guys are probably like, okay, CryptoZX, that's great. Aster is a decentralized exchange, but there's a lot of other decentralized exchanges in crypto world. So what makes this thing different compared to, some of these other competitors of itself? And if you're asking yourself that question, guys, give yourself a pat on the back because that is exactly what you need to be asking yourself. There's definitely a lot of competition. The biggest competitor, in my opinion, for Aster right now would be Hyperliquid. But I know some people might say, what about Drift Protocol and so on and so forth. But the biggest one, in my opinion, is Hyperliquid. Differentiation, and again, I'm sure there's a lot of comparisons being made with Hyperliquid and Aster. Aster is a sole-on decentralized exchange. Meanwhile, Hyperliquid is also a decentralized exchange, but Hyperliquid is also a layer 1 blockchain. So that's the differentiation. But what really took this thing to the level it is right now? Because like I said, there's a lot of competition, and that is none other than the man himself, CZ Binance, who is, of course, the founder of the biggest exchange in crypto world, which is Binance. So, of course, when you're hearing CZ Binance and speculation upon, if he is behind this project or not, he himself tweeted this on September 17th, saying, well done, good start, keep building. And at that time, the price was 17.1 cents. Since then, a lot happened, and we're talking about less than a month, and the price is currently sitting at $2.12. We need to understand the power of CZ Binance, and obviously, if he is behind something, I'm sure they're going to be building something quite big, and that's where the excitement is really kicking in. Because right after his announcement, this thing actually made some people millionaires, especially people that sized in. This obviously did do quite well. Obviously, with CZ Binance, obviously speculation that he's behind it, because I just don't understand why he would be tweeting it, right? I just don't understand that. But Aster, it's like a perpetual trading platform mainly. Of course, it has spot as well, but mainly perpetual trading, meaning obviously you do earn not rewards. What am I saying? Like, I'm going on completely different track. This is obviously, futures platform, so like longing, shorting. You guys know I'm not a big fan of, futures trading, but it's primarily that, and so is Hyperliquid. But now the comparison lies at whether or not this could get to the Hyperliquid level, because Hyperliquid right now has a staggering valuation of 13 billion. It's currently ranked at the top 17 spot. And with the way Aster is moving right now, it's doing some quite interesting numbers. So we're going to take a more depth look. First and foremost, I want to talk about the tokenomics. Tokenomics don't look the best, but a huge chunk of this tokenomics is set aside for airdrops and community. But that does not mean when those airdrops do occur that these people are just going to be sitting on the sideline and bag holding. Those coins might come back on the market. But if this really does become the biggest decentralized exchange, maybe it is something to be worthwhile noting. We're in a bull market right now. In bull market, remember, you do tend to see capital flowing into hype projects, and by far this is one of them. And right now it is retesting some key levels. But the question is, the biggest question that I see, can this project, a lot of people are throwing $10, some are saying 20, some are saying $8 in terms of its price prediction. And I'm going to share my personal thoughts as to what I personally think. So again, Hyperliquid is the biggest competitor. And you could see with the current valuation of Hyperliquid, if that valuation were to be reached for Aster, Aster would be sitting at $8.03. And a 13 billion valuation, it would be required for that. And I know some of you guys probably think that is just absolutely absurd, but we need to understand who is behind this project. And Binance is pumping like crazy. Binance protocols are going crazy. And I think, with the Binance narrative and with the CZ, hype behind it as well. And obviously as decentralized exchanges are becoming more and more, looked at, more interest coming towards decentralized exchanges as institutions are coming on board. Maybe, this is something to keep an eye out on long term. Again, if it keeps building, obviously tokenomics don't speak to me at all. I'm going to be quite frank with you. That's like one of the big, big deal breaker, if you want to say. In the short term, I still think I think short term, this thing can do some numbers because we're in a bull market and it's about to literally break out right now. But long term, we'll see, obviously, with the token unlocks, with the airdrops and stuff, that's definitely, I think, going to have an impact on the price of Aster. But again, that's my honest opinion. We'll see what happens. As of now, I don't own any, but do I plan to own any? Honestly, I'm having that FOMO feeling. I think it's I missed out big time. I don't know where I was on September 17th. Because this thing did not wait at all for it to reach where it is now. But let's take a closer look and see what's really happening. As far as the Bitcoin dominance is concerned, 58.91%. Bitcoin was able to reach a new all-time high. Not a new all-time high. It was able to retest almost close to its all-time high back in August. A lot of people, shocked at that. But again, this is where crypto can really move. On this channel, we've been talking about time and time out how Bitcoin could actually reach all-time highs much quicker than a lot of people are realizing, and it took literally Bitcoin 3 days for reach. It's all-time, not exactly all-time high, but retest its all-time high in just 3 days. And that just tells you how fast things are moving. So Bitcoin's looking amazing. Dominance not looking bad, but let's take a look at what's happening with Aster right now. So let me take you guys down to the early beginnings of Aster. So I want you guys to take a look at with the data that we have. Remember, I say this on my channel, you want to work with the data that we have right now. So this coin obviously was launched around 10 cents, but the tweet came out around 17 cents. So anyone that got in around here, this thing went up 14x. This thing went up 13 to 14x since his tweet. So that was an instant gain right off the bat. And some people made millions, especially the one that sized in quite nicely. But look at this for yourself. So as of now, we have kind of built, again, this is such a new project. We can't really be doing extensive technical analysis, but we could work with the data that we have right now. You can see this for yourself. So this thing went up to the likes. It wicked up to 234, retraced down to $1.30. And then it had a major, move towards the upside. So pretty much that wick that we saw filled in. And we saw an all-time high of $2.42. And after the $2.42, and we're talking just the last week alone. So we've seen major swings. There was a 29% swing here. But at the same time, then we started to build a resistance around the $2.18. Two different retests at their rejection. But that resistance, as we were going towards the upside around the $1.75, that played as a major support line. You can see this for yourself. 2 times Three times we got supported by that key range, but pretty much since its all-time high, if you want to put it, we did see a 40% retracement. Again, quite normal after a project has gone up a staggering 13x. People are going to be pointing out, well, Aster is down 40%. Well, it's also up. Look how much it's still up from the September when CZ made the tweet here, 17 cents. So since then, even if you want to, look at this retracement, it was still up 743%, so almost a 9x. So that's a healthy correction. And right now, Aster is about to break out. So that exact same resistance I was talking to you guys about, it's actually more closely to $2.16. So I'm correcting it right now. But you can see we got rejected here 4 times, and we honestly retested it once again right now. Time and time out, it's showing the importance of this key resistance. Breaking out of here, I think it's imminent that we break towards a new all-time high. So going back to what I said, this thing has some legs for itself, in my opinion, because with the way this thing is holding, and it's really new, yes, it could see bigger swings, though. That's something we want to keep in mind. It could see bigger swings. But again, if you pick this thing up just on September the 1st, you are up right now 46%. And this is showing that it has a lot of eyes on itself. And I think if it's able to, obviously we're seeing a rejection at this key resistance. If this is able to break out, I'm anticipating that this reaches an all-time high and enters price discovery mode. I know a lot of people are thinking that, Hyperliquid is at a 13.2 billion valuation. There's no way Aster will get to that. Believe it or not, in a bull market, when the momentum is on its side, you don't understand how fast things can go. And I personally am projecting this reaches, again, this is my personal prediction, not financial advice. Only time is going to tell what's going to happen. But, with the capital inflow that we're seeing within the market nowadays, I think this thing can realistically end up reaching the current valuation of Hyperliquid. So I know, Hyperliquid has a big competitor on the table now, because if you're looking at Hyperliquid, its circulation supply, it looks better, obviously, compared to Aster, but again, very, very similar projects. So if Aster really does end up being, the big, as if it does get those inflows, if it does get a lot of volume on its side and more people start using it, I think this could actually have a good battle with Hyperliquid. And obviously with CZ Binance backing it, it's just, I think, inevitable. But again, with that being said, I'm talking short term. I'm talking, this Q4 and maybe early next year if we see a fake out. But still, the other unlocks that we're going to see, I think that will have a negative impact on the price. I'm telling that based off of my personal opinion. I've seen it time and time out. But maybe long term, if it continues to build what it's doing, if CZ Binance is behind it and they build this to another level to make this by far one of the biggest decentralized exchanges, then this definitely has a potential. But again, remember, this is not financial advice, my own personal opinion. I own 0 Aster right now. Yes, I wish I bought it, but you don't win everything in this space. Let me know in the comments what your personal thoughts are. If you guys agree with what I said, if you disagree, let me know in the comments. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.